The highlights of District 64's 60th year. So can you imagine we've been here for 60 years? I know, it's incredible. I found it very interesting to help do some of the research on the history, and I'd like to share just some highlights with you. So I'm going to go through this with you and just share some highlights. Did you know that once upon a time, there was a Ralph Smedley of Western Canada? To earn such a distinguished nickname honoring our founder meant being completely dedicated to Toastmasters. So who was this man? His name was Hope Moffat. He was a member of multiple clubs, well, 2 to be exact, Brandon 293 and Winnipeg 250. He was a manager for the Sherwin-Williams by day, that was a paint company, and a Toastmaster the rest of the time. Armed with 5 clubs in 1952, Hope Moffat secured support to create District 42. It stretched from Manitoba through Alberta. It was huge. With growth from 1955 to 1959, it was possible to split off Manitoba to become District 64. In true Manitoba style, it was a cold and blustery day on December the 7th, 1960, when Doug Wheeler, the first district governor, received a letter officially establishing District 64. The new district had started with 12 enthusiastic clubs and 220 members. 2 years later, Doug Wheeler became the first international director representing District 64. He formed the District Governor's Circle and supported incoming Governor Sid McMurray, whose leadership laid claim to northwestern Ontario. Sid was succeeded by Les Sutton, who is recognized for building many clubs, but even more for his play on words. For example, he was proud to be District 64 governor in 64. In 1967, when hippies were known for love, psychedelic music, and drugs, Les decided to run for international director. He chose, "I'm for LSD," as a campaign slogan. Needless to say, when he arrived at the regional convention in Billings, Montana, Sutton was voted in with flying colors. Under Robert Drain's leadership in 1965, the district grew to 23 clubs, with Winnipeg having 12 clubs, the most of any city in Canada at that time. As a result, he earned the Outstanding Governor of the Year award at the International Convention in San Diego. He was the first Canadian to receive the Distinguished District Award. Under Charles Addison's watch in 1969, membership soared to 600. You see, he had this great idea to form corporate clubs where employees would benefit from communication and leadership skills. Where have we heard that idea lately? Ah, yes, that's TI's focus today. And it all started with Charlie Addison. Who knew? The 1970s rolled in with a big bang. Bert Angus was the first Canadian to win the World Championship of Public Speaking. Now the entire world knew about District 64. Then it was Eric Strumeller, district governor in 1972 and 73, who received the President's Distinguished District Award. He liked the word president so much. He successfully ran and was elected as the international president in 1979. He became the first international president from the district. In 1976, women were welcomed as members in Toastmasters. The first club in District 64 to have female members was Voyageur. But it was another club, Centennial, who cheered on Lena Glade in her 1985 run for district governor. She became the first female district governor. She is also remembered for creating the method of aligning clubs that we still use today. Then it happened. A Toastmaster of 18 years with a DTM presented by the beloved district governor, Alan Shaw. A member of 5 clubs. a person with management skills at Manitoba Highways, emerged as district governor in 1982. Jack Gillespie and his team proceeded to achieve President's Distinguished status, being one of 6 districts in the world to attain this level of success. In total, the district grew by 25 clubs in the 1990s. We are calling the era of 1960 to 1990 the first 30 years. It was a period of establishing a strong foundation. The second 30 years, from 1990 to 2020, began with 75 clubs and 1,500 members. Laurie Fisher welcomed in a period of growth and camaraderie. The 1990s also gave us the traveling gavel. A huge gavel built by Skills Unlimited was lugged into the room by Bert Friesen and presented to District Governor Rudy Peters. The gavel, meant to encourage inter-club visits, exists in a much smaller version now. In August 1991, about 50 members of District 64 gathered in Atlanta to celebrate Jack Gillespie's election as the international president. He was only the 3rd Canadian to hold that office and the 2nd from District 64. In 1993, technology reared its head. Computerized membership lists required that printing start in the evening and run overnight, producing reams of paper. Can you imagine? As technology progressed, reporting became easier and website development enriched communication. TI launched their website in 1996, and the district followed a year later. Considering the large number of clubs in the world, District 64 excelled in 94. With leadership from Mel Knott, District 64 was acknowledged as a President's Distinguished District by achieving number 2 in North America and number 4 in the world. Now, it just so happened that nicknames were in style in the district. What do you think Mel, with such an amazing record, was called? The Doctor of Style. If being number 4 in the world was stylish, it's a style worth repeating. Yes, nicknames for district governors were in vogue starting in the early 1990s. Examples are Fashion Queen, the Ice Princess, Queen Bee, Queen Tut, and the Celtic Queen. There was Diamond Shell, the Golden Eagle, and the Golden Boy. Then characters like Mr. Morality, Morty, Boomer, Legs, and the Energizer Bunny appeared. How about the Enchantress of the Island? These nicknames and more are listed in the history book. Oh, did I mention there's a book? The former district governors and district directors gathered facts and shared their memoirs that tells the story of the second 30 years. This history book that was put together by the contributions from so many will be on the district website to read or download free as soon as we can add names of members who received awards earlier today. Now, some of the awards I wanted to put in were not actually given out today, but anyway, this history book will be on the website tonight under History 60th Anniversary. Alas, I had veered from my story. As if accomplishments in the 90s weren't enough, Terry Daly, a member of Skyliners, was installed as international president in 1998. He was the 3rd international president from District 64. He sent us some memories for the book and told a story of being caught in a horrendous rainstorm. He was flying a small plane and landed at Flin Flon. He was tossed about in the rain and the wind, and he was shaken up. He barely landed, and he called on Harry Hobbs. That's one story in the book that describes the beauty of Toastmasters and how relationships go beyond learning to friendship. In 1999, District 64 continued to step up and have an international voice. Shelley Walker was elected as international director. The new millennium rang in the year 2000. The beginning of a new century brought new manuals. The Competent Communication and Competent Leadership manuals made their debut. And I think for some of us, they will always be in our hearts. Sherry Wood, regardless of a series of shenanigans, became an international director in 2004. A few years later, in 2008, Lyle Appleyard, also known as the Rural Fox, was elected to the international board. And then, in the blink of an eye, the 2010s arrived. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This quote by Charles Dickens describes the 2010s. The best of times started in the district with the district's 50th anniversary celebration. The milestone was marked by the power of one party in the park. The picnic, organized by Katrina Younger, was held at Assiniboine Park and was attended by members of clubs who reached distinguished status by mid-May. Speech contests, awards, roasts continued as they had through the decades. The district enjoyed many achievements, membership growth, and visits by 4 international presidents in a 10-year period. Michael Notero visited in 2012 and introduced us to the new TI logo. Mike Storkey visited in 2015, Ted Cochran in 2016, and Gary Schmidt in 2018. Excitement filled the air in the fall of 2014 with the first international convention held outside North America. The 2014-2015 team flew to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for a week of training and participation in the annual convention. With Dorian Gerard's leadership, the year ended with the largest number of clubs and members in district history, 110 clubs and 3,674 member payments. And it didn't stop there. This was the year District 64 welcomed Star of the North and Northwestern Minnesota. Toastmasters International welcomed Monique Levesque-Farrow as an international director in 2017. Rumor has it she served her famous cinnamon buns in celebration, but I'm not sure if that's true. In 2019, TI challenged the district with the new educational program Pathways. A modernized program with online material was welcoming for some and overwhelming for others. On a positive note, the transition drove 30 people to complete their DTMs before the old program ceased in June 2020. Then the worst of times fell in 2020. In March 2020, legislation was introduced preventing public gatherings in hope of preventing the spread of the COVID virus. Speech contests and the spring convention were canceled. The annual meeting and election of officers was held online. Hats off to District Director David Woodcock, who showed strength and leadership and innovation in keeping the district together. He now passes the torch to Laverne Wojciechowski. We wish her better times. Let's come together and support her in restoring our district to match our strong history. These are only a few of the highlights documented in the history book. Be sure to look into downloading and printing the 60-page book from district64.ca. Happy anniversary, everybody.
I'd like to thank Sylvia for a trip down memory lane and so well and interestingly presented. I just loved it, Sylvia. Thank you for putting all that together and bringing it to us this afternoon.
Well, thank you for all your contributions, Marion. It was a lot of fun, a lot of work to put it together, but I had the best team working with me, so it's been great that everybody contributed so much.